Well, hi folks, it's time to start preparing my show carrot boxes now and coring them out, putting the compost in, and then ready to be sown in about the middle of April. So I'll just show you, try and explain the process. First of all, this is for my stump carrots, which are going to be like maybe a foot long. So these are 2 foot deep boxes. They're full of sharp sand, and what I did, filled them full of sharp sand, let them settle for a bit, and then give them a bit of a water just to dampen them down. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take a core of sand out with this drain pipe. It's about a 2 3/4, 3 inch drain pipe. I'm going to get 16 holes in here. So I'm going to take a core of sand out and then fill the core with compost and grow the carrot in each little, we call them stations, but each tube full of compost, which is surrounded by the sand. It's the same with the long carrots. I'll show you in a bit, but they're different because they're in big 4 foot barrels. So like I said, I've got a 2 foot box here, 2 foot square, 2 foot deep, and I'm going to try and get 16 holes out of this. So what I'm going to do, I've got a piece of drain pipe, I'm just going to plunge it down, do it half at a time, and hopefully we should be left with the sand in the bottom of the pipe, like so. So we'll get rid of that. Now some people can have a bit of trouble with the sand falling out of the pipe, so what I like to do is, like I say, give it a bit of a watering, leave it a week, so then the sand's not too dry. And also on the inside of your pipe, you can give it a bit of a scratch or a score, just to give it something for the sand to key to, so it doesn't slip out. So I'll go down to the full depth now. That's 2 feet deep. We'll pull it out and hope nothing drops out. And there we go, stuck in the pipe. We'll just get rid of the sand. Now be careful, you can do them without filling them in. Sometimes you can do one, fill it in, do another, fill it in, but I can usually get away with doing them all at once without them collapsing and then filling them all in at once. So we'll give that a go. So I'll just finish off the rest of these and I'll just show you how I fill it and what compost I use, which isn't anything out of the ordinary. So I'll get on and finish off these and show you the rest of it. So that's 16 holes done, that's the first box, if you can see, without them all collapsing. So 2 foot deep now, just ready to be filled with the compost. So I'll just show you how easy it is to do that and just give you a little talk about what the compost's made of. Right folks, so I'll fill these up now, use my little funnel, handmade obviously. I'll just show you what the compost looks like and what it's made of. And basically all it is a very fine seed compost. This is Sinclair. I used to use Levington's F2 plus sand, and all I've added to that is 1 ounce of calcified seaweed powder per 10 litres, and that's it. No more fertilisers, because root veg don't need a great deal of fertilisers to grow, and if you put too much in it can get too big. So it couldn't be easier. Just a Levington's F2 or Sinclair modular seed compost, or any seed compost of your choice, but it's got to be really fine. This is luckily really fine out of the bag, so I've no need to riddle it, but if it has got a few bits and pieces in it, you can put it through like a 5mm riddle just to get all the bits out of it, so your carrots have got a nice fine mixture to grow into, so they don't hit any twigs and bits and start forking. So it couldn't be easier. Just sprinkle the stuff in up to the top of the hole. You can tamp it down, I used to do, but now I don't bother, so I'll just let it fall under its own weight. I think it takes about maybe 2 litres per hole. That's 1 filled up. Take the excess away. Just give it a slight firm at the top. And then what we put on now are these little rings. Just put these rings on, so that when I sow the seed and they do any watering, it doesn't wash all the compost away, you see. And also, sometimes they can grow out of the top of the compost, and if that's the case, then you can just add a little bit of compost into the ring, over the top of the carrots, to stop the shoulders of the carrots going green, and it just makes it a lot easier really. So like I said, couldn't be easier. Just give them a quick fill up like so, tamp them off, put the ring on, and that's it. So anyway, I'll do the long carrots next. That's a bit of a different procedure and a bit more difficult, and I'll show you what it's all like when it's all finished. So that's it for now. I'll just get on to the long carrots now. So that's the 16 holes filled up now with the little rings put over them. just a matter of sowing the seeds in a couple of weeks now. I'll cover this up with polythene to keep the moisture in, and then we'll be sowing these middle of April. 2 or 3 seeds per hole, thinning them out to the strongest one once they've established, and then just letting them grow on, keeping them bed moist. So I'll just show you how we do the long carrots now. It's the same procedure but a different sort of way of doing it, with using a bit of a piece of wood to make them a bit wider at the top. So we'll get on and show you that. Right then folks, onto the long carrots now, onto the barrels. I've got a 3-foot barrel, well 200 litre 3-foot barrel sat on top of another foot of sand, so I've got in total 4-foot depth, so probably about that much. So I've got to try and get these out, which is a bit trickier than getting the short ones out. So I'm going to try and get 6 holes in this, 5 around the edge and 1 in the middle. So we'll start off with the middle one first. This is where it gets your stomach muscles going. Again, I'll just take some cores out, do it a little bit at a time. And then the different process with this is you want to try and make the hole a bit wider at the top. So I'll use a bar or a piece of wood to make it a little bit bigger. Try and get a bit of purchase. I think that's me down to full depth now. Try and get it out. So that's the depth of the pipe, which is plenty long enough for me. So what I want to do with these is, without sticking this hole through the top of my polytunnel, I'm going to put this in, get it as deep as I can. That's actually the bottom now, and then I'm going to just wind it round like that. I want to make the top of this hole bigger than the stump carrots, obviously, because they're a bigger carrot. So anything from like 4 inches across to 5 inches across, and that makes it a conical hole, and we should get a decent shaped carrot coming out of it. So that's the idea with those. It's exactly the same way, filling them in with the compost, exactly the same compost, just a different variety of carrot. So what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to grow one's called New Red Intermediate in these, which are the long variety, and in the stump carrot ones we're going to grow ones called Sweet Candle. They're the ones that everybody uses, they're the best varieties out there. And then hopefully be planting these the middle of April, just be putting 2 or 3 seeds in each hole full of compost, and then in a couple of weeks when they start germinating and they grow this first leaf, I'll be pricking them out, well not pricking them out, just thinning them out to the strongest one, and then just keeping it moist all year, and hopefully by September time when we do the shows we should get some decent sized carrots really. So that's it, how I core my carrots out and prepare the boreholes for this year's show carrots. See you later.